Hey everybody, it's Carly. Today I wanted to share some honeybee cards with you and a really simple stamping technique that I actually think is kind of confusing until you see someone else do it. So repeat stamping is a great way to stretch your stamps and create your own backgrounds, but I find that a Misty is a must. So I've got my little sentiment stamp in my Misty lid and I'm just going to ink it up and stamp it. Now, this is the thing that you might not think of if you already know how to do it, but if you're new, this is the confusing part. Don't move the stamp. Leave your stamp on the Misty lid and move your cardstock. So I have measured the stamp and I need 3/8 of an inch of space in between the stamps. And so I'm just going to move my cardstock panel 3/8 of an inch in one direction, which is super easy because the Misty has that ruler guide on the side. So once I'm just going to ink and stamp, move, ink, and stamp. Does that make sense? So it's so much easier. In the past, I tried to do it with an acrylic block, which was pretty much impossible for me. And then even the first time with the Misty, I was trying to move the stamp and leave my cardstock in place, and it was really, really impossible to line up and make it look good. So super simple tip, but if you're new, that might help you save a little bit of cardstock. So now I've got that background that I've created, and then I'm going to top it with the little honeybee cupcake die, which is such a cute die. I love this new die. For some reason I die cut it from white and I'm coloring it, which actually that's what I always do. I have no idea why I don't use colored cardstock, but the nice thing about doing it with my Copics is that it always matches nicely and I can always get just the color I want. So I'm going to color that base and color that cake, and then the frosting I'm going to die cut from glitter paper. So I'm just inking some glitter paper. I'm using these blending brushes. I like to still swirl them on my craft sheet just to kind of distribute the ink evenly, but really these brushes are so easy to use. Now the cupcake pieces are all separate, and I find I work better when I have a solid piece, then I only have to worry about placing one thing on my card panel and not messing up the spacing. So I'm just gluing all the little pieces to like a scrap strip of cardstock. And kind of like as I go, I can cut off the extra pieces of cardstock and just make sure everything is spaced the way I want it. The glitter paper, I put a little bit of stick it on the back so I didn't have to mess with the glue pen. And then I'm just using the die to help me space it. The only thing I had trouble spacing was the first two layers that go on top of the cake part of the cupcake, just because if you go over too far. So you can see there it's all put together. There's more information in the description below and also a link to my blog. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.